All right, everyone. Today on Sad James O'Keefe, he lamented like 24 hours later. He's like, "Oh, I wish Facebook would just own up to the fact that they engage in this behavior." They're mum about it. They don't want to respond to this report. Some Facebook defectors, I guess you could call them, or people who work with Facebook, decided to tell James O'Keefe, "Hey, by the way, Facebook is engaged in politically biased censorship. Absolutely. One thing they do apparently is called deboosting, and the idea is like, if something is posted by certain pages or contains certain content and they explicitly show, look, it's definitely aimed towards what you would consider non-liberal content. They use the term conservative. That's become a blanket term in common parlance for libertarianism, the further right, the tradcons, the neocons, anything like that, anything outside of liberaldom or progressivism, and even some progressive movements, I guess, like that Cop Watch group that they took down their page like last month, and everyone was up in arms. They're like, oh, fuck this. So Facebook does provably now, we have proof of this, engage in politically biased deboosting. What that is the post will be prevented from reaching its full audience. Like normally, like a Facebook page, it posts something, and it goes out to the people that follow that page. They get notified of the fact that a post was made. That's not always the case, though. If the code is altered just a little bit, that post doesn't get sent out to everyone. It can be blocked from most or all users. I have a feeling that this happens on YouTube as well, based on my understanding of the notification system. We don't have any corroboration of that, but it's probably happening. The fact that only like 10% of my audience ever gets notified of any fucking thing that I do, it's a little bit troublesome. That's the only reason I'm even on Twitter. It was because that started happening. I had to have another venue for people to get notified of my work. That's why I joined Gab and Minds originally too. Then I realized they were good platforms and stayed, and started making other content as well, BitChute as well. But here's the thing. The deboosting also can prevent it from being shared properly, and so forth. And then they had another thing that seems even more dystopian, which was like, apparently one proposal the people at Facebook have made, like the staff there, one proposal they've made is that to police behavior, they want to do it proactively, so they're going to threaten to essentially impose a rule where if you get banned for something egregious, they say, like you posted wrongthink, they'll notify your circle of friends, like people that know you, about the fact that you were banned or a post was removed. That is extremely dystopian, sort of hive mind fucking farm animal farm bullshit. That's total 1984 bullshit, and I don't think that when these people make these proposals, oftentimes they're never implemented, but it just looks dystopian that anyone would seriously even suggest it. The fact that these Silicon Valley firms have people there that are in positions of some degree of power. This isn't like some random janitor decide, oh, you know what we should do? We should police user content as X, Y, and Z. No, they are higher up, like managerial staff. They have a seat at the table as far as how Facebook is run. Facebook is a dictatorship with a sub-oligarchy that advises Zuckerberg on what weird dystopian crap he should do. The fact that anyone in a major company, these are educated, supposedly rational individuals that have their finger on the pulse of human communication. The fact that any of them would take such a proposal and take it seriously is worrying. Now, thankfully, Facebook is a dying platform, so I'm like, yeah, fucking it doesn't matter as much. What if this were implemented on, like, Google? That'd be a problem. So that's crazy talk. And then we find out there was a separate sort of thing where a bunch of apparently Facebook moderators, because of the content that they have to encounter, they either end up getting slowly red-pilled by it, you could use that word, or propagandized towards by it, depending on what the content is, or they get like, they have to get therapy and they consider suicide and crazy shit like that. Like they see stuff that's so out there and crazy. Like I'm assuming what they mean is like you got social justice warriors are the moderators on Facebook. 9/10 of the time they're going to be like a Bernie progressive. So they're seeing all this far-right content, and even though a lot of that content isn't itself particularly bigoted or hateful, it's just like edgy or something, they register it as being like to the right of Adolf Hitler. And so they either get dragged out of their comfort zone politically, like they get faced with non-stop barraging factoids and infographics and memes and shit to the point where they get desensitized and they stop being, a social justice warrior. They become more normal and somehow this is a bad thing. Or they, in some cases, probably do get radicalized, let's face it. Or they get despondent. They get burned out and they're like, oh my god, I'm a fucking total wreck. Like knowing that society thinks this way. And it's not the same as my echo chamber. This is actually an interesting idea that the echo chamber is best broken by the most extreme and odd of content being moderated by human beings on a website. It's actually very interesting to think that when people are bombarding a page with troll memes and shit like that, that the person that they're affecting the most may be the moderator that has to interact with that content manually and decide whether to ban it or not. That's actually a very interesting thing, but James O'Keefe has done a great job, all things considered. Played an inordinate role in the last election in the midterms, with probably shutting down several Democratic political campaigns, based on the fact that he was the only one doing true investigative journalism. The MSM, we saw the lack of the MSM doing investigation in the last election. It's not just with politics. With Silicon Valley, it's the same. The people calling out Silicon Valley on its worst excesses, it's like with the pervert thing on YouTube. It was a story broken by a YouTuber. It wasn't broken by CNN or the New York Times. They're the ones that took up the story and propagandized based off it to convince YouTube to ban the commenting system and make the site unusable for some users. But it was broken by a YouTuber. It was just a regular fucking video maker that brought that to people's attention. Investigative journalism in the MSM is dead. They don't do investigative journalism. It's like when you see Vice articles about Gab or HuffPost talking about BitChute or something. None of the articles are accurate. They are lie after lie after lie. They are demeaning smear after libel after fucking slander. Every single goddamn time, it's the same fucking story. The problem is that the MSM is counting on the fact that it exists within an echo chamber and that its own audience won't dig deeper. And so with regards to Silicon Valley's goings-ons, James O'Keefe has to penetrate Facebook HQ in order to get a hot scoop on what they're doing because the MSM won't ask them. They handle Silicon Valley with kid gloves, they handle one another with kid gloves, and they're neoliberal political puppets that they co-opt. And the banksters and the corporatists, all these people sort of work together. One hand washes the other. Meanwhile, a bunch of grassroots independent individuals are the ones that have to do journalism and fair analysis. And all tech and stuff, and we always get beat up on and called like extreme. It's extreme to want to hold billionaires accountable now, according to the liberals in this country. It's a farce, complete farce. That's about all. Peace out.